All right, guys, day 2 of adding and subtracting and scalar multiplication with matrices. Just to reiterate a few things, matrices must have the same dimensions in order to add and subtract them. Again, remember this is rows by columns. Okay. Simply add and subtract corresponding elements, so in the same position on each matrix. You must be able to add and subtract these corresponding elements to create the new matrix that it's asking for. So if we're going to be using these matrices below, we need to perform each operation if possible. They gave us A, B, C, and D for 12. It says that we need to add B plus D. So let's see if we can add them. B is a 3 by 2. And D is also a 3 by 2. Because they have the same dimensions, we are able to add them. So we'll go ahead and do that. If we did negative 12 plus 14, we're going to get a negative 26. If we did 9 plus 0, I'm going to get 9. Negative 5 plus 1 would get negative 4. Negative 1 minus 5, well, plus negative 1 plus a negative 5 is going to give me a negative 6. 16 plus 10 will give me 26. And 2 plus 9 is going to give me 11. There would be your answer for 12. So now we're going to do for 13, B minus A. Well, let's check and see what A is. A is a 3 by 2. That would match what B is, so we can subtract them. So let's start with B because it's B minus A. So I'm doing negative 12 minus 7 gives me a negative 19. 9 minus 19 gives us a negative 10. Negative 5 minus 4 gives us negative 9. Negative 1 minus a negative 6. So negative 1 plus 6 is going to give me 5. 16 minus a negative 1. So 16 plus 1 gives me 17. And 2 minus a negative 2 gives me 2 plus 2, which is 4. All right, for 14, I have C plus B. Let's see what C is. C is a 2 by 3. Are 3 by 2 and 2 by 3 the same dimensions? Nope, so I cannot do them, so that is no solution. All right, example 15, A minus D. So A is a 3 by 2. D is a 3 by 2. They have the same dimensions, so we can now add or subtract A minus D. So let's begin with A minus D. A is 7 minus a negative 14, so 7 plus 14 is going to give me 21. 19 minus 0, 19. 4 minus 1 gives me 3. Negative 6 minus a negative 5, so negative 6 plus 5 gives me negative 1. Negative 1 minus 10 gives me a negative 11. And negative 2 minus 9 is also going to give me a negative 11. That would be your matrix for 15. All right, so now moving on to scalar multiplication. A matrix can be multiplied by a scalar, so any real number, by multiplying the scalar to each separate element. So we're still using A, B, and C, and D from above, okay? So zoom out here so we can see everything. All right, 16 says we're doing 4C. So because I'm doing 4C, I'm just multiplying everything in C by 4. So 1 times 4 would give me 4. 13 times 4 would give me 52. Negative 4 times 4 would give me negative 16. 4 times 2 would give me 8. 4 times negative 8 would give me negative 32. And 4 times 7 would give me 28. So you could also see this written as 4 and then the actual matrix of C. So 1, 13, negative 4, 2, negative 8, and 7. You could see it written like this, and you would still have to get to this answer. Okay, just take that 4 and multiply it by everything in that matrix. Okay, moving on to 17, negative 2a. So I have negative 2. Let's go ahead and write down everything that's in A. All right. Seven, 4, negative 1, 19, negative 6, and negative 2. Okay, so now let's get our answer. Negative 2 times 7 gives us negative 14. Negative 2 times 19 gives us a negative 38. Negative 2 times 4 gives us a negative 8. Negative 2 times negative 6 gives us a positive 12. Negative 2 times negative 1 gives us a positive 2. And negative 2 times negative 2 gives us a positive 4. That would be your answer for example 2. Now let's move on to 18, 3D plus B. So let's go ahead and do 3D first. 3 times D, I have to do negative 14 times 3 to give me negative 42. 3 times 0 gives me 0. 3 times 1 gives me 3. Negative 5 times 3 gives me negative 15. 10 times 3 gives me 30. And 9 times 3 gives me 27. So that's 3D. Now let's go ahead and rewrite B. And they are still the same matrix, 3 by 2 for each. Just copying down B from above. Now I'm just going to add these two together. So negative 42 plus a negative 12 gives me negative 54. 0 plus 9 gives me 9. 3 plus a negative 5 gives me a negative 2. Negative 15 plus a negative 1 gives me negative 16. 30 plus 16 gives me 46. 27 plus 2 gives me 29. All right, 19. So 5D minus 2B. Let's do our 5D first. Okay, so 5 times negative 14 gives us a negative 70. 5 times 0 gives me 0. 1 times 5 gives me 5. Negative 5 times 5 gives me negative 25. And 5 times 10 gives me 50. And 5 times 9 gives me 45. So that's what 5D equals. Now I need to figure out what 2B equals, okay? So 2 times negative 12 gives us a negative 24. 2 times 9 gives us 18. 2 times negative 5 gives us negative 10. 2 times negative 1 gives us a negative 2. 2 times 16 gives us 32. And 2 times 2 gives us 4. So they're still the same dimensions, 3 by 2. Okay. So now I'm going to subtract these to get my final answer. Negative 70 minus negative 24. So that would be negative 70 plus 24 to give me a negative 46. 0 minus 18 gives me negative 18. 5 minus negative 10, so 5 plus 10 gives me 15. Negative 25 minus a negative 2, so negative 25 plus 2 is going to give me negative 23. 50 minus 32 is going to give me 18. 45 minus 4 is going to give me 41. And that would be your final answer, a 3 by 2 matrix. Okay, and that is just a little review of what we did yesterday, addition and subtraction and scalar multiplication. Have a great day.